Hello and welcome everybody to another Thursday Night Fever live stream with myself, Fishroom Fever, and my buddy, pal, and co-host, Chattanooga Ed. Good to have you here, buddy. So tonight we are going to talk about Aquashella. I know, surprise, surprise. But we're going to talk about kind of Aquashella a year in review, having been to all three shows this year. Some of the things that we experienced, some differences between them, some similarities, and just overall the time that we had visiting all three of those events. So not only was it worth it, which is actually what I was going to title tonight because I did that with the last show, but I didn't want to piggyback on John. But in terms of all three, was it worth it for us to go to all three events? I do know we have got some questions and comments in the chat. I will definitely be getting to those. I've answered quite a few in the stream prior to starting, but if you would put at Fishroom Fever, that little at symbol there, put that either before or after your question or comment, we will read that live on the stream for you when we get to that portion of the show. But yeah, it's been a fun year. It's been a long year, and of course, we did a lot of other things beside Aquashellas along the way. But I guess we'll start with Dallas, and we'll kind of bring up some of the things that happened at some of the other shows, and throughout the course of the year doing Aquashellas. In terms of the Dallas show, I think it was probably my favorite show. It seemed like we got to meet a whole bunch more people that we hadn't met previously, along with seeing a lot of the familiar faces that we had met in Chicago and in Orlando. One of my highlights, of course, I love hanging out with you all, but like specifically something that, and John talked about this too, I never would have expected to happen was getting to go hang out with Brett from Tanked. And watch the football game with him. Like John said, and like I've said several times, if Brett asks you if you want to go watch a football game with him, you don't say no. So that was awesome, and I very much appreciated that invite and getting to spend some more time with him. But really, there were so many people, not just fish tubers, not just other creators, but also people that watched the show that never gotten to see their faces, and so it's really nice being able to attach that face to that name now as I look at you all in chat. Of course, for anybody that doesn't know, we had an awesome friend with us, another member of the Tennessee Fish Mafia, TN Aqua. He came along with us on the trip. So that was really, really fun. We've done some things locally here in Tennessee with him, but this was the first, road trip we've taken with him. So Robert, TN Aqua, it was great having you along, my friend, as I said many times, and looking forward to doing some more road trips with you in the future.
For sure.
Now, Ed, you being the driver on this, because for anybody that doesn't know, we drive to the events. We don't fly anywhere. I guess let me ask you, as the person that has driven to all of these events, and specifically Dallas, with it being the longest trip thus far, was it worth it for you?
The drive was tough. I mean, when we were driving there, we thought we got shot at one point, and we realized that a lug net flew off of a truck, hit the side of my bug. I've got like bug guards on the sides of my car, and hit that, shattered that. But it was right on pace to hitting me, so that would have got me if it wasn't for the bug guard. I think at least it would have shattered the window. Maybe it would have redirected then. But yeah, that was not fun. But
that
really,
was a scary experience.
Yeah, and then when we were driving, we drove almost all the way there the first day. Then we were only an hour and a half out of Dallas, and it was just getting late, and it was rainy. And I said, let's stop. And I wish I wouldn't have, because the next day was bright and sunny, but the wind was unbelievable. They said that it normally doesn't blow like that, but we were like driving up on their highway, like on an embankment, like it's a 4 or 5 lane thing that goes way up in the air. I'll do it real small. And I was on the far outside, and the wind was, I was doing everything I could not to throw me into the concrete barrier, but I was afraid if the wind would blow the other way, I was going to take out 4 lanes of traffic.
Yeah.
So that was stressful. I mean, my hands were bright white and red because of squeezing the steering wheel for the last 20, 30 minutes. That was rough. But still, it was fun.
It was. It's always an adventure one way or the other. One thing that
yeah.
one thing that I did kind of talk about on the stream last Thursday prior to the event was a little disappointed in how it was laid out. And this is not Aquashella's fault. This plays more to the hotel. How it was laid out in terms of thinking that the event was connected to the hotel, when in fact you had to go under an interstate and down the road to get to the event location. So hopefully in the future, maybe some clarification can be made, because a lot of people were confused / surprised to find out they booked a hotel at the event or booked a hotel next door to the event, and then the event center was actually down the road. So that was one of very, very few, and I don't even know that I'll be able to come up with another aside from the long road trip, which Ed did the driving on. But that was one of the few negatives, and it wasn't a bad walk. It really wasn't, and I don't mean to complain. I was grateful to be there, but it was like, oh, we're next to it, and then it's like, no, it's down that way,
Couple more
a good little
blocks.
ways. Yeah. So
Yeah, that I didn't like that either. But they said it was actually an improvement from the first one. The first one, everybody was a mile away.
wow.
They had to drive to the convention center. Everyone, you couldn't even walk. So that was
Absolutely.
an improvement. But still, Dallas needs to not be tricky on how they do theirs.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not even so much having to go to a separate location. I don't mind that as much as not knowing, or booking with the understanding of, Orlando was great for the simple fact that, it was built into the hotel. So hotel was not cheap, but it was nice. You could kind of wander back and forth, and not really have to do much traveling, so to speak.
Yeah, they I don't know. What I wish it would have showed us, because when I went on the map and I said location of Aquashella, and they were pointing to their hotel. And so I didn't look at any hotels for us on that side, the opposite side of the highway, because I was like, I don't want to cross a highway. Well, I wish I would have, because we would have made maybe closer.
Absolutely.
Never know. Well, maybe I'll know next year.
But again, that was a minor thing overall, but something I did want to point out, because it did surprise a lot of people when they showed up. That being said, we got in, I guess technically Wednesday, right outside of Dallas. Came into Dallas Thursday and got in our hotel room, and it was awesome. There was a fish tank in the hotel lobby. I absolutely loved that. We got to go over to the event center and help do some setup and kind of poke around and look at some things before, anybody else, the general public, if you will. So that was fun, and it was nice to get to help out with setting up the YouTuber booth and things like that, and just hang out with a couple of people we'd seen at other shows. The calm before the storm, almost, except for there was still a lot of furious setting up to do. One thing that was great was that Thursday night, as a lot of you all know, we did our live stream at the hotel, and John from KT Tropicals came over and hopped on the stream with us for a bit. I appreciate him doing that. It was, that was a good time. It's always a good time when John's on. But there had been some issues with me partially hosting his stream / coming on that, and then his delays. And I felt really, really bad that he didn't get to go to that VIP event to go meet Phil Robertson. So as he'd mentioned, he's like, hey, do you want to just do the thing? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to just do it. And he's like, well, I can get in time to do it. And it was interesting, but we did have a lot of questions, or at least I got a lot of messages asking, what happened? Why didn't you do a show? You were supposed to do a show. And it was just a timing thing. Like John has mentioned, he kind of forgot about the time zone changeover. So that's why that did not happen. But appreciate the fact that he did walk to our hotel from his to come hang out on our stream Thursday night briefly.
Yeah.
Then,
you know what? It's kind of weird, because I met one of those Duck Dynasty guys. I met the old man. The grandpa. And I met him on a Halloween. He was like the grand marshal for the Halloween thing they had going on in St. Charles. And it was just kind of cool.
That is very cool. Very, very cool. So given that I slept in late on Friday, and Ed did not, Ed, I'll turn it over to you to kind of talk about Friday morning and how that started out and went over at the event center.
Well, I got a free sandwich or breakfast sandwich from our hotel. and like I bit into it halfway there, and it looked like it had a thing of mold this big in it. So that was pretty gross. I spit that out. And then I think that was about the most memorable part. I don't think we did a whole lot. We got there and hung out with some, the other YouTubers and had fun, but it's not like we really did anything. Lisa, I think, is here, and John and Jason, Joanna, and Carrie all went over to go see where Kennedy got shot.
Heard
And
about that.
I didn't. They offered to let me go, but I had done that before, so I just decided to stay back and hang out. But I don't think we did anything that day. I just
Well, I should say, yeah, no, we really didn't. It was kind of a nice, relaxing day. There were some minor setup and things, but it was a lot of hanging out with people, a lot of getting to see familiar faces and meet some new ones. And that was one of my favorite parts, was that, the Friday before, just hanging out and making plans. And, we had a fish tuber thing that night, which they ended up doing a live stream on the Aquashella channel, which is very, very cool. But just a lot of good people and a lot of good times. So that was definitely a lot of fun, being able to do that before everything kind of went hectic and crazy and the show actually even started. I'm going to jump to the chat real quick before it gets too far away from me, because I know it's already getting close to that time where it skips on me. So let me get these real quick. Sarah J. Sieber was asking before the stream if we're going to be doing a Simply Saltwater this weekend. I don't believe we are. Poor buddy Ed here. He has to go out of town again this weekend.
You
haven't been home for a weekend in almost a month, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I drive. I'm responsible of driving my mom and dad everywhere. And so they've been pinned up at home with very little to do. I came back for one day between Miami and Texas, and all I did was drive them around that day. And then now they've been sitting at home so long, they want to go to St. Louis to see their best friends. Okay. So I'm going to drive them to St. Louis Saturday morning and coming back Tuesday.
So we will try and get together with Mike Fish Tank Barn and see if we can't schedule one for not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. I know it's been a while, a lot of stuff going on over this summer. So it's been interesting trying to get those special live streams in, along with everybody traveling all over the country and going to various events. T-Bone's Fishy saying good day to you, T-Bone. Appreciate you being here. T-Bone, appreciate you being here. Ben Backstrom says, good evening, Fisher Fever and Chattanooga Ed and Fish Fam. Good to see you, Ben. I had to turn my monitor brightness down, so I need to move this up to the other monitor so I can read it better.
Sean Peck said that he's happy that we got home safe. And there was one rest stop that I wish you could have been there, Sean. It was so cool. Was that in Louisiana or Mississippi?
Which one are you alluding to?
Well, it was a real nice one. They had like really pretty plants and like islands, and you had to walk up these stairs, and they had like this deck that went around to get to their bathrooms. But there was it was infested with rats.
Oh yeah, the Louisiana
there were rats.
Yeah,
everywhere. I was counting the rats, and there were like hundreds. And Bobby got close to a trash can. Robert, sorry. I almost said sorry, Bobby. That's terrible. He was standing next to a trash can. I was worried that a rat would jump out at him because there were so many rats. But I was like, man, I wish Sean was here to see all these rats.
Ed doesn't want you to miss out on any of the fun, Sean. Yeah, that was interesting. That was at an interstate rest stop. That was not a gas station. I know we've told some crazy gas station stories, but yeah, I was ready to get out of there. Killer Kitty 08, good to see you here, says Johnson. Thank you for answering the Pulsing Xenia question. Absolutely no problem. That's what I'm here for. Anytime I can help, love to do it. Jimmy P's Aquariums says, Fish from Fever, my favorite stream, hands down. Hi, James and Ed, thumbs up. Hey, Jimmy, good to see you, my friend, and I appreciate that. It's my favorite stream, not because it's mine, but because I get to talk to you all. I guess I'll say Ed's is my favorite stream because I get to hang out and talk to you all at the same time. And I don't really have to be on camera for that one. But glad to have you here, my friend. Chris, Multi-Tank Addiction with the $1 super sticker drop in that brown pile of fertilizer. Chris, it was a pleasure to finally get to meet you, my friend. It feels like, or it felt like we'd met before because we've talked to you for so long, pretty much since I've been on YouTube. But it was great to actually get to shake your hand and get some time hanging out with you this weekend, kind of walk around and do some fun things together. A huge thank you for the aquarium lens kit that you bought me, amongst other things. I've been using that a lot. I know a lot of people got those at the show. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But again, thank you for giving me that gift, my friend. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. Rolling down through here. Lunatic Fringe. It just says there's a fish room fever in this chat. It's very contagious, LOL. Absolutely. Catch yourself a little fish room fever, my friends. Might as well, right? All righty. Timbo, tanking it easy. I like that name. That's a cool name. It says, have you had a chance to try out the ONIP tab sample you got? So I have not. Actually, the film you're seeing behind me, I shot earlier today with the old formula because I do still have some of those. So I'm shooting that footage, and then I'm going to shoot more footage with the new ONIP tab so we can do a side-by-side comparison. Not just me looking at it and telling you my thoughts on it, but I can also talk to you while giving you the footage of both of those side by side and let you all decide for yourself. And I think that's the most fair way to do that, because me just saying, oh yeah, they gave me some and I tried it and it's great, doesn't really help you all. I mean, I appreciate that people value my opinion, but I want to actually show you and let you look at the particulate, if you will, and if there are any differences versus the reformulated nature formula and the old formula that everybody loved.
You still have the old one too?
I do still have the old one. Yeah, I've got some of those that hasn't expired yet. So I've been saving those for filming opportunities because I told Sarah, I said that's one of the things I love about them, aside from the fact that it's a fun food. And it was good food, is that it was great for filming. You could stick one of those on the glass and kind of get your fish positioned where you wanted them to be at, amongst other things. So we'll see how that turns out. It's not gonna be a 20-minute video. I shot 20 minutes of footage with a couple of the old school ONIP tabs in the background back there, which you can't see because of the zoom in. But I'm going to shoot some footage, and then I'm going to edit it all together side by side and let everybody look and formulate your own opinion. Let's see. And I appreciate the fact that you watched that live stream before. That lets me know that you were in there while I was doing the live from there on Saturday, which we're going to talk about more here in just a minute. I see the hashtags blame John. Appreciate that. The people coming over from the KG Tropical stream a little while back. Never any hard feelings when John runs a little bit past 9:30. It is what it is. Scuba Steve O's Aquatic says John's apologizing for making everyone late. How sweet of him. That is very kind of him. And it was great to meet you again, or see you again, Scuba Steve O, because we met in Chicago. So I'm really glad I got to see you again and hang out a little bit. I know you said you had an awesome time, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more of the videos coming out from you on your experience, because we all have a different experience when we go there. And that's one of the things I've talked about before is, just because like the people that watch my live streams or my video after the fact edited together, doesn't mean you'll get the same thing watching mine as you'll get from watching Ed's, as you'll get from watching Scuba Steve-O's, Multi-Tank Addictions, KG, et cetera, et cetera. We all kind of look at things differently. We all have our own perspectives, and we also all gravitate towards different things. Whereas maybe I stayed more toward like the monster fish, the bichers and the red tails and the shrimp. I did a lot of macro shrimp footage. Because I'm not a huge African cichlid keeper. I won't say I'm not a huge fan. I love them. They're beautiful. It doesn't work for me. You get somebody like, Chattanooga Ed, who's got lots of experience with cichlids, or like Chris, Multi-Tank Addiction. They may gravitate more towards a lot of cichlid footage and cichlid booth and things like that. So I encourage you to check out different perspectives. I see some super chats coming, and I appreciate y'all very, very much, and I will get to those in just a moment. I love you guys, and thank you for the support. But I encourage you to look at other people's videos, not just my own, and that kind of helps you immerse yourself that much more into the event when you get to see multiple perspectives. Rolling down through here, I'm going to get caught up on the chat, and then we'll get into talking about Saturday when the event actually started. Some of the great things that happened and some of the funny things that happened. MSC Aquatics says, picked up a few blue devils, whole pupfish. Very cool, and congratulations, my friend. I'm surprised I haven't seen any pictures from you on Facebook Messenger. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Lots of the sorry I'm late, it's John's fault. Love that, and thank you so much. Paul Sotero says, James, I understand Aquashella is primarily sales/promo event. Was there any educational talks that were worthwhile attending? I don't know that there were necessarily any educational talks. If we look at
talks all day long on the big screen, like they have 2 stages.
They do.
There's one that has the big stage, and we never even made it over there because we were so busy. But we also had a YouTuber booth where we ran live streams, and I don't know if you could get much out of what we said, but I hope.
Yeah, I mean, so I try and make everything, I bring value. That's my thing. I want to bring value through education and information, hopefully a little bit of both. Wow, I'm trying to read this at the same time. Education and entertainment. There's the entertainment part, the goof ups, right? But here is the lineup of people that were speaking. Oh, it's not going to do it because of the green screen, is it? Nope, it's not going to want to do it. Shame on that. Shame on that. Okay.
I could see it at the end.
But they were smart to put the actual lineup on here. For the main stage speakers. I thought that was nice. It also helped some people. Yeah, I can do that. So Saturday we had, I'm going to skip the like entry and stuff like that. Speaker Van Thane, and then Jake Adams, submission, Taylor McNee. Then there was a contest, and then Sanjay, I'm going to say this now, this wrong, Joshi, Fragoff. Of course, Joey, King of DIY, was the speaker Saturday. He was the keynote. Then there was a raffle. And then on Sunday, there was starting speaker Jeff Mayotke. I'm going to butcher these people's names and never hear the end of it. John Hudson, of course, KG Tropicals. Jen Williams. Love Jen. She's awesome. John's okay. I don't know about that guy, but and then Mark Levinson, and then there was another scape off.
Well, I guarantee, other than maybe the fun type scape offs, there was something educational in every one of those, because they're not just going to say, my favorite game to play is poker and, right, whatever, or tell them about their last time they were at Disneyland. I'm sure they all brought something. And then the Awazi booth had chairs, and like every 2 hours they had escape lecture on, or trying to teach people how to escape things. And I mean, maybe the first 20 got to sit down, but there were more than that. They would pile up and watch. So I think it's all about how much education you want to put into it. If you want to go to all the different speakers and talks, and then there's also like people like Blue Dog. They love talking about reptiles and teaching you about them. So you can ask a lot of the people questions too. So
absolutely, I feel like that's a very good way to put it. The value that you derive from it is what you seek from it. If you're just there to hang out and have fun and talk fish on a less than informative standpoint, just chit chat, you could do that. But like Ed said, I feel like you could find informational value in pretty much all of those talks, excluding John from KG, because he's, I was just kidding. But now, to answer the question the way I think that you're probably phrasing it, we didn't have any, so I'll point out like Aquarium Co-op does, he brings in these people that are very science rich in terms of their fish keeping experience. We didn't have any technical talks like that, or like the ALA that Ed just went to. We didn't have any real technical talks like that. There was great information to be found in all of the talks, but there wasn't anything that was specifically like, okay, we're going to sit you down and talk to you for an hour about the habits of this particular tetra in its natural environment. There wasn't anything along those lines. But it was a great time. It really, really was. I did not get to see much of the talks. I don't think I even went in that main stage center until we did a photo there, just because it was so crowded and there was so much going on. Was trying to get footage for you all, did the live stream for you all. So I really didn't get a chance to go in there, but I know they were constantly packed and a lot of smiling faces coming out of those at the end of those talks. Hey, Patty's Petite Tanks, good to see you. Appreciate you saying hello. And Ginger, thank you for dropping links. Thank you, Sister Rena. Been a member for 11 months, coming up on that 1 year mark. Thank you so much for that, Rena. Says, hi, friends. Late, but I'm here. Please keep blue hair. I will do my best. I'll do my best to keep the blue going on. Gawain Duncan says, sorry, I'm late. It's John's fault. Absolutely. Appreciate you being here. Shame on you, John. How dare you? How dare you, sir? I got to give John a hard time. I do. We give each other a hard time back and forth pretty much the whole time we're around each other. So it's always fun. Texas Fish Room, been a member for a year now. Says, great meeting both of y'all at Aquashella, Texas. Dude, it was awesome. It was an honor. I'm having fun going and commenting and seeing all the photos. I'm getting tagged in on Instagram. That's a great time. And I'll be adding some snapshots in on some of my stuff. But yeah, dude, it was great to get to hang out with you. Very cool dude. And I'm glad that you were there, my friend. Look at that awesome shirt.
That's super awesome. I was gonna wear this, but then since we're talking Aquashella, I think I'll wear it in the next week.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's super awesome. He was
there you go.
Cool guy.
I see Boss Aquatics in here saying, what's up? How's it going? I appreciate you doing that little video for the TikTok. I had fun with that. And it was awesome to meet you, my friend. It really, really was. Boss Aquatics, if you don't know him, I actually found him on TikTok and then found his YouTube channel, and he's a lot bigger channel than I do. But he's a really cool guy. He brings a really cool perspective to fish keeping, and he's got a fish room. So we're going to be getting him up on a live stream one of these Thursday nights once we get that scheduled. I think that's going to be fun because we all love seeing fish tanks.
I kind of got to meet him.
Hey, he's a cool dude. Cool dude.
I was his director, or whatever,
right?
Producer for his when he was up there.
This is driving me nuts. There we go. The auto centering keeps shifting me over, and it's driving me crazy. What's going on, Paul McCarthy? Appreciate you being here. Susan for SLC Aquatics, been a member for 7 months and a supporter for a lot longer than that. Thank you, Susan. Says James and Edgar, great duo. Appreciate that. Really, really do. All right, rolling down through here. I'm trying to get caught up because I want to talk about Saturday and Sunday, but I already know the chat jumped on me once, and I'm going to start losing questions. Yes, sir.
You also have a lot of people that have given you super chats.
I see that, and I am so close. I'm like right there to being able to grab those out. Hello to Pet Exotics, Ashton's Fish Room. No, I appreciate you, Ed. I don't want to let those people go unnoticed, but I also don't want to skip the other questions just to jump to the money. How dare you? No, kidding. Let's see. Ashton's Fish Room says, hello. I've got one question for you. Have you ever owned a Parachromis Dovi? I have a pair of 2.5-inch Dovi, and I'm building, let me scroll that up, 8 by 2.5 by 2.5 plywood aquarium for them. So I guess an 8 by 2.5, 5 by 2.5 plywood. I have not. I've seen a lot of awesome videos of them. I've got one guy in particular, every time I talk to him, he's always trying to get me to take some Dovi. Hey, you need these Dovi. They're beautiful fish. I think you will have a very enjoyable experience with them, especially given that you're actually giving them a large build, doing a plywood aquarium. I think that's the way to go for a lot of these massive fish that unfortunately we see too often in tanks that they are just not supposed to be in that small of a tank. So I think you'll have a lot of fun with them, but I've not personally kept them. I did go through my monster fish phase, 10, 15 years ago, and I do miss that sometimes, but that was not one of the particular fish that I had at the time, unfortunately. What about you, Ed? Have you ever kept Dovi before?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm not a big fish guy. I mean, I'm a big fish person, but I don't, well, that still sounds weird. I don't like having big fish. When they die, I get really, really sad. So I'm better off with little fish that have lots of babies and short lifespan, so I don't feel bad. I give them the best home they can while they're here on Earth. They pass away, but I'm still carrying it on with their children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's start hitting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know how we've talked about building like a 2,000-gallon plywood thing here at my place?
We have. Yep.
And I've just never had a big enough fish that I really wanted to do that with. They had that, was it called a spring turtle or a fly turtle?
The fly river turtle?
What?
Fly river turtle?
Fly river turtle. They sell those for $1,000 a piece. It's kind of expensive.
I bought 2. No, I'm just
It would be awesome, though, wouldn't it?
It
to
would
have
be.
one of those.
It really would be.
Datnoids.
Yeah. Oh, I love my datnoids. I do. All right, I'm going to hit some of these super chats and super stickers up as I scroll through here. We've got our buddy Rack from Bird Garden. Again, congrats on hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark not long ago with the $10 super chat. Appreciate that, my friend. It says Rat Trap Fund with a whole bunch of rat emojis on there. Yeah, they definitely needed them. Now, I will say the restrooms were extremely clean. The building was really well maintained. It was a beautiful location, minus the dozens of rats. So it was interesting because normally you think of like rundown, dilapidated areas and rats, and here was this really beautiful location that was landscaped and maintained, and it's just rats everywhere. So, but thank you for that, Bird Garden. Appreciate you, brother. Always good to see you, my friend.
I thought about him though. I was thinking, man, a couple of owls would have a field day here, or a couple of Cooper hawks. Something cool would have a great time with all those rats.
Absolutely.
Or a black snake.
Got our buddy Sean Peck from Peck Tech with the $5 super chat. Says Rat Watcher Road Trip Fund. I'll have to send you a clip. I did take like a 10-second clip of the rats. I'll have to send that to you so you can see what it was interesting. But
I tried to get James to throw his barbecue sandwich out, but it was a wonderful barbecue sandwich from Texas.
Yeah,
I ate mine. It was so good.
Yeah, I was not giving up my barbecue sandwich for those rats, no matter how awesome the footage might have been had I done so. But Sean Peck, thank you for the $5 super chat. Peck Tech says, oh, there we go. I said it. Rat Watcher Road Trip Fund. But yeah, I appreciate that. Sorry we didn't have you along. Had fun going with you to Aquashella, Orlando. That was a blast. Having you as our road trip roomie was always a fun time. But on the other hand, I'm also glad that T and Aqua Robert got to go with us and be our road trip roomie this time. So it's always an adventure, but hopefully we'll get to hang out sometime soon, Sean, and play some games and talk fish and do that tank thing at your house that you've been talking about that I won't give away, but it's going to be fun.
And he's going to do this tank behind me.
Absolutely. And I might have him do my rimless tank with me on a video. Who knows? We could just have a tank day and we do a whole bunch of tanks. And film it. We need to film it. All right, rolling on down through here because I'm going to start talking about Saturday and Sunday, and I'm going to have to go tag this so people can skip ahead and bypass this when they actually want to hear about Saturday and Sunday. Swiss Aquatics with the $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, Priscilla, with that cute little lemon head guy and the other little fruit playing the musical instruments there. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to see you, and I hope you're doing well. I haven't talked to you in a while, but I hope things are going well for you. And thank you again for that super chat. Levi's Aquatic says, I was the one who had the fish food can costume. Awesome, Levi. That was amazing. That was so very cool. I'm glad that you said that was you. Because, now I know exactly who you are. Definitely. And I'm sorry, everybody else. I might hurt some feelings here, but definitely the coolest costume I saw. So
on Friday, I mentioned to James we should have won his like tubs of fish food. It was kind of funny.
It was. It really. I saw it and I was like, Ed was just talking about doing that. But no, I think you did an awesome job. Really cool costume. I don't know that I actually got to meet you because you had so many people wanting to check out your costume. But it was great to see you there, my friend, and I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Multi-Tank Addiction says, highlight of the weekend was just walking around and hanging out with you, my friend. Absolutely, Chris. It was long overdue. Long overdue. So
yeah, I didn't get to do much at all. I worked the booth most of the time, and I only did The one tour with Rico, normally Rico and I do 2 tours of the place, and we go an hour before, and I only got a third done. So I was going to ask Rico if he'd be all right if next Aquashella we start half hour earlier, like at 9:30. And
Absolutely.
next year I'll do a costume that I can walk around in easy if we do it on Halloween or whatever. But I didn't do it on the second day because of the Halloween costume.
Absolutely. And we'll talk more about some streams here in just a second. I'm almost caught up. I'm trying, guys. I'm sorry. Killer Kitty 08 says, how come you two didn't do the Aquascape competition? You both are talented. Well, I appreciate that vote of confidence from you. They had so many other people there that are, I guess we'll say, more well-known for their aquascaping abilities, that our talents and services were not required. That being said, I'm always up for participating in any event like that I am asked to do. So if I'm asked to do something like that, you'll see me in it. If not, I'm not going to, poke my way into it. But go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I would love to do it too. Right now, I'm currently undefeated in my one that I ever did.
Yeah.
So, but I don't have to say that. But no, I was actually kind of in charge of it. I lost control, kind of, but it's all right. I had enough other things to worry about. But yeah, I couldn't have done it because I was the guy who made the trophies.
Yeah. And honestly, with that in mind, I probably would have bowed out of it just because Ed and I are a duo. Even though we have our own channels, it might have not felt right having Ed be one of the people making, trophies and stuff for it, and me competing in it, especially had I won, which would have been unlikely. But in the event that it happened, there would have been some, I don't know, Ed's making the trophies and running the thing, and then James is winning stuff.
In the end, I didn't end up doing hardly anything. I thought I was going to be a judge and stuff, and we were so busy doing other things, and Awazi just kind of went with it, so it worked out.
Absolutely. Melissa Jeswell with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Melissa says, thanks, guys. I wanted to make it to Aquashella to meet you. I have a sick cat that needs daily care. Weird that a cat keeps me from a fish show. Well, I am sorry to hear about the cat. I really am. Maybe next time. Who knows? Sorry we did not get to meet you, but hopefully you were able to kind of immerse yourself in some of the live streams and get some of the experience that way. And there's always next time. And I appreciate the super chat. Never expected, but always very much appreciated. And I mean, all of you, all the members, the super chatters, you all are what makes it possible, at least for me, and I'm sure for my buddy Ed too, to be able to go to these events. Were it not for that YouTube paycheck that I try not to talk about, wouldn't have been a possibility to go. Even though Aquashella was kind enough to invite myself, and a lot of other people as creators, still you got to pay for travel and a room and food and all that stuff. So appreciate the support from you all, and it does go back into doing things and showing you all things that I hope you enjoy. Fish Tank Barn. Go ahead, buddy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
One awesome thing that they do is they like to feed us on Saturday nights now.
Yes, absolutely.
They didn't do that in Florida, but in Chicago in the last one, they've done it. And we had Tennessee barbecue. I wish Tennessee had barbecue like they do in Texas. We had Texas barbecue, and it was basically all you could scoop. It was like there was no limit. But unfortunately, I put so much on my plate, I could only have the one. But the chicken, I've never had that good of barbecue chicken in my life. It was
really good.
Tender, so amazing. The brisket was good. The sausage was hot and weird, but the chicken was amazing. Texas people know how to make chicken.
Absolutely. Mike from Fish Tank Barn with a $3 super sticker with a thumbs up, a fist bump. Appreciate that, Mike. I need to message you. We'll get together, and the three of us will figure out the next Saturday for our Simply Saltwater livestream show series thing, extravaganza, bonanza. Daniel Velez, hello. Sarah J. Sieber asking if we're going to talk about who got some new plecos. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to save that for that gentleman to do a video, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But yeah, some really pretty fish went home with some people this past weekend. All right. I'm going to get to a stopping point on the chat. We're going to talk Saturday, Sunday, because we've got 20 minutes left. So I'm going to jump back to the chat. We're just going to cancel Ed's live stream. We're going to keep talking here. Just kidding. Just kidding, everybody. Don't yell at me, please. So, and I do know there are more super chats and super stickers. I see you there, JFK2, Multi-Tank Addiction. Again, a lot of other awesome people, and I appreciate you. You will not go unthanked publicly on the stream. But I want to dive in because we've only got a little bit of time remaining. So Saturday, Ed, you did your pre-show live stream. How did that go compared to previous shows?
You know what? I watched it, and I think I did a poor job. Oh, Monica Lynn, hi there. I am new local Austin. New local Austin was where I met him during the live stream. I was trying to get my earphones to work, and he was standing there. I'm like, there's a guy standing here. But super nice guy. Great time. I would love Rico to meet him because I think they'd have a blast together. But I could hang out with Mike, new local Austin, anywhere, anytime, because he's a super cool guy. And Stephen P was great too. I see he says oh man, I was trying to be cool and have it flipped down. Anytime Stephen P. Yeah, well, I won't read the whole thing. So I started it, and I think it was a little shaky, and I knew I couldn't get it all done, so I rushed a little too much. And so it wasn't, I think it's probably my worst one I've ever done. I was having a hard time paying attention to poor Rico because I was just trying to rush, and it wasn't the best stream I've ever done. But that said, I'm going to do it again, and hopefully it'll be better for you folks.
I don't think you did a terrible job. I think that just kind of comes with the experience. There were a lot of people live streaming, which is part of why Sunday I did not do another one. I was getting ready and prepped to go live again Sunday, and there were 2 other people live, plus the Aquashella live was going. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity to do some filming and get some really quality footage for some videos for you all, and killed both of my batteries doing that, which I got them charged back up. But it was just, there were a lot more people going live Sunday, and I didn't want to step on people. I don't consider myself to be anyone special, but I do know that a lot of the people there that have newer channels, I got a chance to talk to a lot of them, and I feel like none of them would have wanted to stream while I was live. / it might have detracted from them had I gone live when they were already live. So I wanted to give other people opportunities. I've been to 3 shows this year. I got a lot of footage I can share after the fact in video, and I think you all will enjoy that very, very much. I've always said stream when you want to stream, but that was one particular instance where I decided it was probably more beneficial for the fish fam, the fish tube community, if I just let other people do their thing and kind of stayed out of the way. Saturday was a really fun stream. We went for a little over 2 hours on the live stream, and it was a simultaneous stream to here on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. That was the first one of those I've done, and doing that while mobile, walking around an event, was a little bit challenging at first. I hope I did well enough for you all. I know some people bounced back and forth between the platforms, but I hope you all really enjoyed it. It seemed like everybody in the chat was enjoying it. I tried to keep up with both chats. There are a lot of people between the 2 of those combined, and I appreciate that. Still didn't get to everything, even with a 2 hour and 15-minute stream. Still didn't get to show off all the booths, and I even tried to bypass a couple things just because it was very similar. So when you get to the saltwater side, a lot of people here are not interested in saltwater. I still like to show some of it, but people don't want to look at 37 saltwater tables. I don't know exactly how many there were. I'm making the number up. But I was like, okay, these people have the same offerings essentially that those people over there did. Let's try and bypass some of that. A lot of people still wanted to see everything, so that's what we rolled with. But definitely didn't get to show as many booths or the whole event that I would have liked to, even with going 2 hours and 15 minutes. I think at the next event, I will probably schedule in advance a live stream and plan it to where we can do like a 4-hour stream. And other people are always welcome to stream while I'm streaming. I've said that many times. Competition just makes for a healthier platform. But I feel like that's the only way to truly get a full walkthrough and immerse people. And I'd like to incorporate Q&A. So I kind of sat down a couple of times to grab a drink and take questions from the chat. So I'll probably do like, top of the hour, we sit down for 5 minutes, do a straight up Q&A about what we've looked at so far, and then we continue on with the tour. I think that would be fun. I think that would give people a chance to kind of come and go. Is anybody going to sit there and watch 4 hours after the fact? No, but I could probably pull some highlights out of that. Let's see here. Fishaholic says, nice to meet you that day, James. And TN Aqua Robert. Sorry, Ed, I missed you, bud. It was crazy busy show. I had a good time. It was awesome to meet you, Fishaholic. It really was. And I felt bad for Ed. I mean, he was having a fun time, and you could see that he was kind of like in the zone, switching cameras and running the live stream on the Aquashella channel. But he really did not get away from that table much. So he didn't get to meet nearly as many people as I'm sure he would have liked to.
Yeah.
So, but I will say, I was proud of you, buddy. And I say that as knowing your technological journey, if you will. The fact that you sat there and did such a wonderful job running the streams and the camera switching and all that, you did phenomenally well.
Well, I actually took 2 college classes on, it was called Comtech, and it was video switching for newsroom stuff. And so it's the first time in 30 or 25 years I got to use switching. Because, I used to do for a news cable, college news, switch. So it was kind of fun to be able to actually use that. So that's like old technology still.
Absolutely. Multi-Tank saying didn't get to watch the talks either. Yeah, there was just so much else going on, plus trying to stream and get footage and things. L99 says, and she's quoting me here, the value you derive from it is what you seek from it. The Tao of Fish from Fever. Yeah, I might have to make that a thing. I don't know. That came out very eloquently, I guess. Jeffrey Watts with the $1 super stickers. Thank you so much for that big bet, pause, rewind, stop. Jeffrey Watts, thank you so much for that $1 super sticker with the 99-cent pile of fertilizer. Appreciate that, my friend. I hope you're doing well. The Zen Ginger, been on the Team Zebra for 19 months. Been a member. Thank you so much, Zen. Celebrating that. It says 19 months. Hashtag Team Zebra. I love the support. Very much appreciate it. Thank you and congrats at the same time. And appreciate all you do as a moderator as well. All the moderators. You all do an amazing job. Our good friend JFK2 with $20 super chat. Just throwing money at us. Not even saying anything. Just throwing some money out there, showing love and support. I appreciate you, JFK2. It's always great to see you with or without the super chats, but I dare say more often than not, we see you with the super chats. So thank you so very much for that. Yeah, Boss Aquatic says, what that say? I love it. That's his tagline for anybody who doesn't know, especially on TikTok. He's the CEO of What That Say. I told him, I said, I really... I don't want to say jealous, but like the fact that he found that little thing that just clicks and it works perfectly. That little tagline, man, I love it. I really, really do. It's great to see you in here as well, boss. All right, rolling down through here. Chris, Multi-Take Addiction with that $5 super chat says the highlight of the weekend was walking around and hanging out with you, James. Wish I could have spent some time with Ed. Yeah, definitely. Poor Ed got. I say poor Ed, but he was a big deal. He was kind of the star of the streaming show over there. But he did definitely get pinned over there to the Aquashella streaming booth. But he's a great guy. What can you say? Fishy Biz, what's going on? What's cracking? Believe I'm going to be on Fishy Biz's show this coming Monday. I think that's what we settled on. If you want to verify that, Fishy Biz, we'll hype it up. I'm looking forward to being in that hot seat over there. And it's good to see you in here, my friend. All right, rolling and the scrolling. Zinginger says, who won the Aquascape, Joey or Mike? We all know Joey won that one. We all know Joey won that. I went over, I actually didn't watch it, but I went over and I asked Mike after the fact at his booth. I was like, did you win? He's like, that wasn't going to happen. But, what can you do, right?
Do we know who won the costume competition?
I do not as of yet.
I'm hoping it was Carrie. Carrie was amazing.
I hope so.
Carrie was so good. I was like, I'm not even entering. I'm just wearing my costume. But they did videotape Carrie and I. They said, can you guys come over to we went to this brand new blow-up octopus they had, and they wanted us to do like swimming. And I'm like, I'm a banana slug. We don't really swim.
Right.
And they're like, we don't know what a banana slug is. Just swim. It's like,
and what can you do?
Yeah.
Give the people what they want, right? Pegasus Arena, appreciate the support. Saying I'd watch any length video or stream you and Ed do. I appreciate that. That really does mean a lot. We just try and have fun and bring value. So the fact that people enjoy it to that extent is amazing and very heartwarming. Guppy Shack, the $1.50 super sticker with that rainbow. Appreciate it. Guppy Shack, thank you so much. I hope you're doing well, and it's good to see you, my friend. Thank you for showing that love and support. Mike's Aquatics and Things, been a member for 15 months, saying Heidi, Heidi ho. Good to see you, Mike. Hope you're doing well this evening, afternoon, nighttime. It's a nighttime. It's definitely nighttime. Killer Kitty 08 with the $2 super sticker with that cute little fox in the hearts dancing around. Appreciate that very much, Killer Kitty. Thank you for the support. And our buddy Rico Stan the man, who, Ed, you said will not be going live tonight after your show, correct?
Yes, unless he starts to feel better, and then I'm here, and we'll do it. But
and actually,
now, it's not.
There we go. Had I read the super chat prior to asking that question, I would have answered my own question. There you go. Rico Stan with the $5 super chat saying, no Rico in the man stream tonight. Glad you guys had a blast at Aquashella. Should have just read the chat. Rico, I hope you get to feeling better, my friend. Sorry you're not going to have a stream tonight. Thank you for the super chat. Never required or expected, but again, thank you so much. Paul Stero says, looks like you guys can run long tonight. Rico's not going. Yeah, so I think Ed's got some extra stuff he's going to be doing on his crafted stream. And I know that he did schedule for 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when I looked at that. So tonight's one of those. I'll take advantage of that extra 5 minutes so we can get through all the Q&A and talk a little bit more about Aquashella. Did I make it to the bottom? I think I made it to the bottom. I don't believe it. All right, well, I'm going to freeze it right there at the bottom. So I guess I don't know how I want to phrase this without it sounding like I'm being mean. Is there anything you feel like that you really, really missed out on that you would have liked to have gotten a chance to do, Ed, given that you were primarily attached to the Aquashella table with the streaming?
You know, I do like to go hear what some of the big guys do on their, the big stage. I would, because Florida. Well, can we compare just a little bit between the teams?
That's absolutely.
And we'll carry this conversation over to mine. But I would say Florida was about 4,000 people, and Chicago, I heard, was 5,000. This one was 10,000. So it had more people than both of those. And so I think people in Florida, we didn't have locals. It was all fly-ins because I don't think the locals had ever heard of it yet,
right.
First time. I think next year Florida will probably double. I honestly think it'll probably double. And I think Chicago's going to have a lot more. Chicago didn't have many locals either because they were all up there afraid of the sickness going on.
Right.
They're just a lot more kind of more uptight in that area of the country about it. So, but we had so many more people fly in to Florida. I mean, into Chicago. And then when we went to Texas, we had locals and fly-ins. I mean, we had people from Oregon, Texas, New Jersey, Boston.
Yep.
Everywhere people were flying in. And lots and lots of locals. So, in my opinion, it was the busiest and the most fun because I got to meet the most people.
Absolutely. Can I add I'm sorry. I just want to add one thing to that because a lot of people hear that number. Like Whip, I said, that's too many people. And I don't disagree with you, Whip, but I want to say the way that they laid it out, the way the event was spaced, the booths were spaced, even the way the YouTube booth was set up this time versus previous times, it didn't feel like it was that many more people. I mean, you could tell it was big and that there were a lot of people, but it wasn't like shoulder to shoulder. You can't do anything. You can't breathe. It wasn't claustrophobic. If anything, it felt a little bit more open, especially around the YouTuber booth versus like Chicago. It was really well designed, well thought out to be able to accommodate that many people, even though it was a lot bigger.
Our YouTuber booth was bigger than Florida and Chicago put together. The Chicago was half the size of Florida. The Chicago one was so small, it was insane. This one was so big, it was insane. So that was awesome. What I liked about Chicago is they had more freshwater fish than anyone. I mean, I didn't get to go everywhere, but it just seemed like, and I did get to go everywhere in Chicago, and I got to go everywhere in Florida. So maybe I missed a lot of the dealers, but it felt like there was a lot of, I mean, the local stores showed up, and they were amazing local stores. But I don't know if they just had supplier or fish stockers.
Well, I feel like they were spread out differently versus Chicago. So when you compare the two, a lot of the people that had fish in tanks for freshwater were closer together at the event. Whereas here you might have a booth, like say Blue Dog Aquatics, who of course has awesome reptiles. We're going to be doing some stuff with James from Blue Dog in the future. But he also has shrimp. There was probably 6 booths, 8 booths, a lot of footage between him and the next person that actually had freshwater fish or shrimp in tanks. And then you'd find somebody like Joe Shrimp Shack, on a corner. And then maybe it was 3 booths before you saw the next thing that had freshwater fish and or shrimp. So there was a lot of, hey, here's a livestock booth, and then here's this booth that's got driftwood. Here's this booth that has plants. So they were more spread out, which I think in some ways could be beneficial. But there definitely were quite a few booths that did have the livestock. I don't know that I'd commit to saying whether it was more or less, but I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I didn't look at the offerings of freshwater livestock and go, this isn't as nice as Chicago, or this isn't as nice as Orlando. I really appreciated seeing what I saw. And you do get a different mix of the local vendors that come in. So that's always going to be a thing. But there was a very good representation of freshwater livestock. I still didn't get to look at all the freshwater livestock, even being there for the whole weekend. So, I mean, that says something. There were a couple booths that were just so busy constantly that I really couldn't get into them until last minute.
And if I was a betting man, I bet you they would have sold about 4,000 more tickets.
Yeah.
And it was they'd sold out a lot of the specialty tickets, but there was just the generic ticket that was left to be sold. So, but because I think they said they had like 15,000, they turned away 5,000 a couple of years ago. So they wanted to make sure they'd be able to get that many if they had it.
Absolutely. It was well done. And like John mentioned, they're going to be moving the first Aquashella show to February next year. I think that's going to be a plus for people that are looking to attend multiple events. We have 6 weeks in between the 2 shows this year, from Orlando to Chicago. Yeah, it was maybe 6 weeks, but it'll definitely help to have more spacing in there. It's kind of rough hitting all 3. It's one of those from strictly somebody that's just doing a general admission. I don't know that I would go to all 3 shows. From the fish tuber side, I look at that a little differently. And also somebody that maybe is not on fish tube, but wants to go meet the fish tube people, or meet some of the speakers that they bring in, stuff like that. I could understand going to multiple events. I don't know that I would have done almost 30 hours of sitting in the car, or certainly driving, just to go check it out for the fish. But having said that, you all know that's not primarily why I go anyways. I go to hang out with other fish tubers. I go to hang out with the fish community, meet the people I haven't met before, like New Local Austin, Stephen P. 2003. All you awesome people. I'm not going to start listing names because there's so many, but I go to hang out with you all. And sometimes collab on stuff and come up with ideas, but I go to talk with you all and have a good time with people that I don't normally get to see here as part of the Tennessee Fish Mafia. The show itself is great. There are some vendors that I do enjoy going to see every show. And I go hang out with them, Joe Shrimp Shack, Blue Dog Aquatics, a couple others. But from I want to go buy some fish and some driftwood, I wouldn't have done the 14 hours. I did it for the community, and for the show part of the experience more than the put fish in box part of the experience. Although I got some pretty fish from LRB, because I always have to get something from LRB. So
yeah, I don't know. When it comes to people, I can't say one was better than the other. All three of them had great people. I wouldn't want to miss any of those.
they did. I feel, and it may just be because it's fresher in my mind, but I really feel like Texas at 3G is another one. I feel like Texas had more fish tube related people there than any of the others. There are some people I didn't get to see there that were at other places, but I feel like there were just overall more fish tube related people. I feel like there were probably 3 dozen fish tube related people. Even if it wasn't people that necessarily had channels, if it was people that come in and hang out and watch the show and talk with us here in the chat. And even some people that, don't really talk in chat, but they came up and said, hey, I watch you all the time. I never really talk, but I enjoy your videos. And that's, that means a lot. I had a couple people that mentioned, hey, you and Ed will always be my favorite channel because without you and without Ed, I never would have started my channel. And that means the world to me because my take on it is, of course, here to bring value. Yes, Ed's live stream in 4 minutes now. Thank you so much, Zen. It was 5 minutes when she posted that. And there's a link. We're going to jump over there and do Crafted with Chattanooga Ed and myself doing the commentary. Real quick, the way I think of it, I'm here to bring value through education, entertainment, hopefully a little bit of both, as I like to say, which I think I'm going to put on my banner after several of the bigger YouTubers said, what should we do? Or they were answering like, how do we make good videos? And they're like, bring value, education, entertainment. And I'm like, I'm just going to make that my tagline because I say it all the time. But my perspective on life is this. If I never get another subscriber, if I lose my channel tomorrow, my hope is that I've touched at least one person out there and gotten them to do something they want to do, to start a YouTube channel. And maybe that person reaches 1 million people and brings value to 1 million people. So even if I'm not the person that gets to reach that massive audience, if I can help somebody else get inspired to go reach that massive audience, then I've done my part in this world. So I always appreciate hearing you all. When you say things like, you inspired me to start a channel, or you helped me learn how to do this. That means the world to me. So thank you so much for those. Jailer Scuffy said Aquatics, another awesome person got to meet, says, can't wait to see you in Orlando. Yeah, Paul Sotero with the mafia thing there. So Mike's Aquatics thing says, any truth to the rumor going to be Aquashella Vegas? I can't speak to that. I've not heard anything about an Aquashella Vegas, so I cannot confirm or deny anything there. I would leave you all. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would guess it would at least be 2 years away if it happens.
Yeah, that would be my guess. I will leave you all with this, and it may get me in trouble, but I'm going to do it anyways because I love you guys. Finally got things nailed down for Aquaticon in Knoxville, Tennessee, 2020. The end of April.
2022.
Yeah, 2022. What did I say? 2020? I don't ever want to say that again. 2020 is like burned in my brain. Everything will be 2020. Anyways, Aquaticon, Knoxville, Tennessee, 2022, the last week of April. Now I'm going to get date specific and all these things. Next week, we're going to talk more about it because that's when the gag order is lifted and I'm finally allowed to talk. But plan to be in Knoxville the end of April 2022. It's going to be huge. And we're not talking a club fish swap as much as I love those. We're not talking 10 booths, 20 booths, 30 booths, 40 booths. We're talking it's going to be big. We've got some very big people that we're getting involved with it. And it's going to be a really fun time. So more details to come next week on the Thursday Night Fever live stream, along with just some general information. And we're going to keep talking about it and keep bringing you all more and more information. But next week, I'll be allowed to disclose some more specifics. Tickets won't be on sale just yet, but I will say, and I'll be able to announce a ticket release date, I think, next week, hopefully. I will say when they do go on sale, I would jump on them because for a year one show, it's going to be huge. So I'll leave you all with that. Let Let's see. All Things Fish says, having been to multiple Aquashellas, for most hobbyists, is it worth it to attend multiple Aquashella locations? Do you mostly see the same thing at each show? So strictly as somebody that's just going to check out the fish, check out the offerings of the booths, I personally don't know that it's worth driving or flying all over the country 3 times a year, because you don't see a huge variation in what's offered location to location. You see some stuff from different local vendors, and I've got some really cool footage of a Texas booth that was there that I think you all will enjoy. But if it was just strictly me and it was a fish show, I don't know that I personally would find the value in going to multiples, especially if we're not adding in the fact of meeting YouTubers. So even if you're going there to meet FishTube people as a viewer, as an audience participant, I still factor that differently than it's a fish show. Is it worth going 14 hours away for the fish show after I've been to Orlando and I've been to Chicago? Most things aren't, when you think about it. If you're not going for camaraderie and you're not going for some sort of personal value and you're simply going to shop, how many of us are going to go to 3 different places a year, anywhere from a few hours to 14 hours, 16 hours away, just for a shopping experience? So I'll label it like that, and have you take that into consideration. Paul Sotero, yes, you can put it on your calendar. We ran into an issue with another national show that was going to go the same as us, and we got that fixed. But yes, put it on your calendar. It's signed, sealed, delivered, and paid for. I'm going to have some fun stuff to show you in terms of the video that was made regarding it. Knoxville is going to be the Aquaticon show, aquarium expo, aquarium event. I don't know how you want to phrase it. But that's what's going on, Scuba Steve. He said, you got to tell me what's in Knoxville. More details next Thursday. With that being said, we're 2 minutes over. I want to say a huge thank you to my buddy, pal, co-host, my best friend, Chattanooga Ed. We're going to go over to his channel right now. To all the moderators, the members, lurkers, listeners, super chatters, and contributors, questioners, commentators, and of course the replay crew. I love you guys. I appreciate you. New Local Austin, this one's for you. Until next time, keep your fish healthy. Keep yourselves healthy. Don't be afraid to catch yourself a little fish room fever. Take care, everybody. Going to Ed's